Elk feed grounds, a controversial practice with unexpected consequences. In the heart of Wyoming's winter landscape, a fascinating ecological drama unfolds. Brian Dugovich, a wildlife disease ecologist, led a study that challenges long-held beliefs about elk feed grounds and their impact on hunting. The study, published in Ecosphere, delves into the complex relationship between elk, predators, and the environment. For generations, big game outfitters have staunchly supported elk feeding, believing it enhances hunting opportunities. However, this premise had never been rigorously tested with modern data. Dugovich's team set out to examine this assumption, and their findings were eye-opening. The study compared 6 fed elk herds in Wyoming with 7 unfed herds in the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem. They analyzed key demographic indicators such as calf recruitment rates, population size relative to winter range, and the huntable surplus of elk. The results were intriguing. While feeding did stimulate calf recruitment in some herds, the overall impact was minimal. The benefit you might be getting from feeding was being mopped up by the predators, Dugovich explained. In a more intact ecosystem with large carnivores, the energy invested in feeding elk doesn't necessarily translate into a larger huntable surplus. This predator subsidization effect is a fascinating twist in the story. The raw data and a sophisticated statistical model, incorporating 26 years of data and thousands of simulations, supported these findings. The model considered factors like winter severity and predator presence, adding depth to the analysis. The U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, in collaboration with federal land and wildlife managers, conducted this research. The study's co-authors include experts from various agencies, highlighting the collaborative nature of the project. However, Wyoming Game and Fish, which manages 21 winter elk feed grounds, declined to be interviewed, citing the political sensitivity of the issue. Game and Fish consistently utilizes the best available data and science to inform wildlife management strategies, stated Brandon Skurlock, the Pinedale Region's Wildlife Management Coordinator. This commitment to data-driven decision-making is crucial in navigating the complex world of wildlife management. The recent arrival of chronic wasting disease, CWD, adds a new layer of complexity to the elk feeding equation. Wildlife disease experts anticipate that continuing the historic practice of elk feeding could have detrimental effects on elk populations and hunting in the long run. Dugovich's findings about feed grounds and elk herd productivity were not incorporated into recent analyses that informed decisions about feeding elk on federal land. This raises questions about the consideration of the latest scientific insights in wildlife management decisions. As the future of elk feeding on federal land hangs in the balance, with decisions looming for feed grounds like Dell Creek and Forest Park and the National Elk Refuge, the role of recently confirmed U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Director Brian Dugovich becomes pivotal. His influence on these decisions will shape the future of elk populations and hunting in Wyoming. This story highlights the intricate dance between wildlife, predators, and human intervention. It invites us to consider the unintended consequences of our actions and the importance of science-based decision-making in wildlife management. What do you think? Should elk feed grounds be continued, or is it time for a new approach? Share your thoughts in the comments below.